Hey, hello YouTubers, and welcome to this episode of, Learn Everyday English, your roadway to English proficiency. A little cool front blew in, but I thought I'd take a little walk around the neighborhood as usual. And I got my jacket on and I got my hat. As you can see, me Pura Vida hat. Pura Vida for you people in Costa Rica. And I'm also testing out a microphone, external microphone to go with my iPhone. It's called a Pop Voice lavalier mic. As you can see right here, it's on my shirt, so hopefully the audio is going to be quite a bit better than just using the microphone that's in the iPhone. So there's 3 things that you can do for me. To start off, hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and 3, tell your friends about it so that they can benefit from these videos too, just like you. All right, I'm going to tell you a little story about something I've been dealing with for quite a while, since about probably June or July, and it has to do with a dental issue, a dental problem. And the American healthcare system here, people think we have a good healthcare system. Some people may say we've got one of the best healthcare systems in the world, but there's a lot of things to be desired, we say. A lot of things that could be better, a lot of things that may need to be changed. One thing, it's very expensive. If you live here in the United States, you have to have insurance. If you don't have insurance, it's impossible. You won't have enough money to pay the costs for your medical care. And even with insurance, the costs can be very expensive, not just with medical care, but with dental care as well. So my story started back in, I guess, June or July, where I would occasionally, when I would bite down on something hard or tough, I would get a sharp pain in my mouth, or sometimes I could say maybe in excruciating pain, which means like very sharp, very painful, excruciating pain that would last for a little while. It would go away, but it wouldn't happen often, or wouldn't happen, all the time. Then in, I think July, we went to Mexico City. So before I went, I remember I went to the dentist and I told him, hey, I've got this problem with my tooth. It's a molar tooth. And I said, I think it's cracked. So he took x-rays and he said, well, x-rays don't show anything. I think it's just your gums or something else going on with your tooth. So, just monitor it, kind of watch it, and see what happens. So I said, okay. So I went to Mexico. I didn't really have any issues with it then, but maybe about 2.5 months ago, I had a big problem. I was eating something, bit down on to bite. I bit down on like a small piece of bone. I didn't know that was in some chicken, and I had a real bad pain. It was very, very painful. And then I remember my tooth was hurting for a couple of hours. I could still eat, but it was very painful, so I knew something was wrong. And it happened a couple more times. So about 2 months ago, I went back to the dentist and I said, hey, something's going on, or something's wrong with this tooth. I think it's cracked. And I said that because I had a cracked tooth before, years ago, and it was the exact same symptoms, issues going on. So he took x-rays again. He said, well, I'm not sure, it might be cracked. I'm going to have to refer you or send you to see a specialist, an endodontist. And I didn't know what an endodontist was, but apparently endodontist is a dentist that specializes in doing what's called root canals, where they drill holes in your tooth and remove the root of the tooth so the tooth won't be hurting. Takes out these, the sensitive parts of the tooth, so you need to see a specialist. And so I made an appointment, and with my insurance. But this is where the problem started, because I can't, so my regular dentist has to give me a referral to see a specialist. And my regular dentist has to refer me to see a specialist, so he has to give me a paper I take to the specialist, and only then can the specialist see me. So that's one of the problems with the medical system here, medical and dental. So I remember I went to see in my insurance, there's a special book I have to go through and pick a specialist. Well, then the regular dentist said, we use this endodontist, go see him. But then I checked with my insurance. My insurance said, well, that endodontist is not approved by our insurance company. You need to go through this list they gave me, and you need to choose or pick a endodontist from this list, and then you can see that specific dentist. So I picked an endodontist, called them up. They set up an appointment about a week or two later. Then the day of my appointment, they call me and they said, well, we're not insured by your insurance company. They're not going to pay us, so we can't see you. Thanks a lot. So I had to go back to the approved list and pick another endodontist. So now it was like 3 weeks had gone by. My tooth was getting worse. It was hurting. I couldn't eat anything very tough or hard. I picked another endodontist and finally set up an appointment with them about a week later. So then I went to see that dentist, went to that dentist's office, and thinking I was going to see the endodontist. So I went and saw a dentist. He said, oh, I'm just a regular dentist. I'm not an endodontist, but I'm going to take some x-rays with this special machine, see what we can find. So he took some x-rays and he told me, well, I'm not sure. I don't know if I really see any crack, but I'm not the specialist. I'm not the endodontist, and he's not here today. So I thought to myself, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why did the office make an appointment for me to see an endodontist, and I get here and the endodontist is not even here? I see a regular dentist who can't really make a determination if the tooth is cracked or what I need to do. So it was kind of just a waste of my time. And I said, well, where is the endodontist? When can I see him? And then the dentist said, well, the endodontist is only here 1 day a week, every Friday. So you need to come back a week from today, next Friday, to see the endodontist. And I said, I got to wait another week? So I waited another week, and the endodontist came in, and they took some more x-rays. And he looked at the x-rays and he said, well, it's not really clear. I think I see a crack. And so I said, okay, what do you suggest? Well, he said I could do a root canal, but I can't guarantee that it will be successful, or it may be help you out for a short period of time, but you may end up having problems with it. And the other option is to pull the tooth. And he was kind of leaning toward just pulling the tooth. So I said, well, okay, since the root canal probably won't be very successful, just go ahead and pull it. Can you just pull it? Because it was hurting. And he said, no, I can't pull it because I'm just an endodontist. I only do root canals. I don't pull teeth. You need to see an oral surgeon, who is another type of specialist. And especially, I think, because the tooth was cracked, there was potential problems or complications because the tooth could probably break or break apart, and more specific techniques would need to be used. So I said, okay. So the endodontist left, and I talked to the office manager. He said, I said, well, can you send me to a oral surgeon today? This was Friday, because it's hurting. I can't wait, over the weekend. He checked, he called an office. They couldn't see me. They were all booked up. We say booked up, or they didn't have any available appointment times. So I said, well, what about Saturday? What about tomorrow? He called, and he couldn't find anybody. I was getting pretty upset, or kind of pissed off, upset, because it didn't make any sense. I have insurance. I can't see anybody to pull the tooth. And it was hurting me. I couldn't hardly eat. In order to eat, I had to use a blender to blend up my food, so it was soft and there was nothing hard, and it was just one big hassle. So finally he told me, well, let me call another office. He called another office, and to make a long story short, like to sum it up, he couldn't get anybody to see me until Wednesday, and this was Friday, like 5 days from that time. And I said, wow, Wednesday. And I gave him a piece of my mind. Which is, I kind of told him what I thought, that it didn't make any sense, that I had to wait 5 days. I was in pain. I couldn't eat well, and it was kind of causing me, I wasn't able to sleep well because of the pain. My tooth was throbbing, but apparently I had no choice. Then to add insult to injury, that's another expression, to kind of even make it worse for me, he said, well, I'm going to go ahead and print out your cost estimate to see the oral surgeon. So he came back, he gave me the price or cost estimate, and it was $900. I went, $900? I have insurance. He said, yes, I know. This is the cost to remove or extract the tooth with insurance. I went, wow. Because I told him, well, I'd called my insurance company, and to have an extraction is not that much. He said, no, the extraction is like only $20. I'm like, $20? Well, why $900? Well, you need to have a bone graft because you're losing some bone in your jaw, and more than likely you're probably going to have a dental implant, and you need to have enough bone for the implant to be screwed into, and that's $600. And then the dentist needs another special type of barrier or some other thing to do to remove the tooth. That's like $300. So overall it was added up to around $900 to remove one tooth with insurance. That's why I said here in the United States, even if you have insurance, you still got to have dinero. You still got to have some dough, money as we call it. Dough is another word for money. You need to have money. So I finally went to see the oral surgeon yesterday, and he pulled my tooth. And it wasn't too bad. It took about 4 times to yank and tug and twist on the tooth, and finally it just popped out. And yeah, it kind of bled quite a bit, but I was relieved and glad to finally get the tooth out, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm digging in my pocket because I brought the tooth along with me. I wanted to show you. So I'm kind of recovering from that. It hasn't been as bad as I thought, and I'm not really in that much pain today. I haven't had to take any pain medicine. I usually like to take Tylenol extra strength, 500 milligrams. I take 2 of those at a time. But here, if you can see, is the tooth that was taken out. So it has an extensive root system, as you can see. The 3 big roots. And so that's my experience with the dentist. So I want to close with one thing and tell you. So I've got a big kind of gap in my jaw where the tooth was. He had to put some sutures. We call them sutures, which he had to sew the wound closed, but because he put a bone graft in there, and the sutures or stitches, sometimes we call them, are going to dissolve or fall off in 7 to 10 days. Now, in the meantime, I need to go back and see my regular dentist to see what we can do. Can he put in a bridge to replace the tooth, or do I need to get a dental implant? So I know I've had a bridge before with insurance when I had the other tooth pulled, and I think that was like $2,000 for a bridge with insurance. Then when I was at the dentist the other day, I asked her, hey, just out of curiosity, how much will it cost for a dental implant? So she looked up in the system and she said, okay, the dental implant, I think she told me was like either $1,700 or $2,300. And I went, what? $1,700, $2,300? And that's with insurance. You heard me? That's with insurance. Then she said, oh, well, wait a minute, that's not everything. I said, what? She said, yeah, you're going to need a crown to go on top of the implant, and that's like another $1,700 or something like that. So the total for a dental implant with insurance, now this is with insurance, did you hear me right? With insurance is like $3,000 to $4,000. So like I said, with insurance, even if you have insurance here in the United States, you still got to have some bucks, big bucks. Bucks is another word for money. If you can't, what are you going to do? So that's a decision I have to make, and I'm sure a bridge is going to be probably around $2,000. So is it, worth it for me just to go ahead and get the implant, which is probably going to last longer, but takes longer for the procedure. So I need to make an appointment, which I'm probably going to do when I get back to the house. It's called the dental office, and make an appointment and talk to the dentist to see what he can do. So I'm supposed to be going to El Paso for Christmas to meet my wife there. She went to visit her mom, and I'd like to have something in this spot, bridge at least or something, so I can chew and eat normally and not have this big gap or this big hole in my mouth. So that's the thing with insurance here, and my situation or issue that I've been having with this cracked molar tooth. And so let me know what it's like in your country as far as health insurance, especially dental insurance. Is dental coverage free in your country, or do you have to pay much or anything at all, say to have a tooth pulled or for dental work? And I do have to pay for dental insurance every month. It's maybe like $20, $30 a month I pay. It's not anywhere near the cost for like health and medical insurance, because I pay about $350 a month for medical insurance, and about $20, $30 a month for dental insurance. And then I also have insurance vision or eye vision coverage insurance for eyeglasses, and that's probably another $5 to $10 a month. So here in the U.S., like I said, insurance is not cheap, and even if you have insurance, you still got to pay. They call out of pocket. Out of pocket, that's the cost you have to pay for treatment. And the thing is, the implant may cost me $3,000, $4,000, but the dentist's office is going to bill or to charge the insurance company probably twice as much, maybe $7,000, $8,000. So they're making a killing, we say, in English, they're making out like bandits. That means that they're making a lot of money. They're making out like bandits, or they're making a killing. There's another expression for you to write down in your notes. So I'm going to kind of keep this video short, and hope you learned something interesting about how the medical system, the dental care system works here in the U.S., and the issues I've been having with a cracked tooth and the problems that it can lead to. Like I said, I'm glad to have the tooth out. It's not hurting me, but now it leads to other problems and other issues and situations I need to take care of. So that's it. Enough rambling for today. You know, there's 3 things you can do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about it. Hey, and thanks for watching this episode of Learn Everyday English. Hey, we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.